We're here to give you the game so you don't get your shot blocked. We made the mistakes so you won't have to. Free game.
But her point was, these are still my rules. And I was 17 at the time. And even at 17, I couldn't make a commitment to do something that was outside her rules because she had already started investing in me, what her vision was, and that wasn't part of it. And she wasn't willing to let that go. And I fell in line. So, you know, she always ruled again with very strict, very strong guidance, and you know I'll never forget that. I'll never forget
with the iron fist. Would you say with the iron fist?
An iron fist. I think that's the perfect way to put it.
I know that you said that you had brothers and sisters that were older than you,
right?
And I know a lot of times with parents, they get to practice with the older siblings,
right?
And
right.
Based off of that practice, they develop a skill set, and they have a different approach as to how they're going to handle the younger ones.
Right.
So she seemed like she was a little bit of, she was kind of strategic, would you say?
I mean, so when you ask my brother and my sister, they'll say how it was a cakewalk. And I'm like, if this was a cakewalk, y'all should have called the police. Like, bro, like, no, a cakewalk. And so like, I'm really insulted because it was not a cakewalk. It was follow the rules or blah, blah, blah. And I just wasn't willing to go to blah, blah, blah. And so, yeah, I do think that she adjusted her approach over the years, but not to say that she got softer on the approach.
Hey, what J. Cole say is beauty in the struggle?
Beauty in the struggle, ugliness in the success.
Come on, man. Come on, man. You told me that she got you a unique gift for your high school graduation. What was that gift?
So, this was a time when I want to say what are those little thin phones called?
Razors?
The Razors.
Right.
The Razors were hot. The iPhones were coming around.
Right, definitely.
And having a new phone was something, right? And I'm probably, I can't remember how old I was at this time. I was graduating, so I was 17.
So what you had the Cricket or what
Did I have a Cricket? I had a Sprint. I had a Sprint joint.
That chirp was hitting, and with
I had the chirp.
Okay.
I had the chirp. I had the chirp.
So
I had the chirp.
Upgrade at this point.
I had the chirp, and so I'd had the chirp since 9th or 10th grade.
Okay,
and
you was
so
doing your thing then. You was doing your thing.
It was 2 years old.
Okay, upgrade time.
2, maybe 3. And so now the new joint is out. And this was back in a time where the new phone made your old phone worthless. It wasn't like going from the iPhone 13 to the 14 where, the camera's better. It was,
right.
There were differences. And so I end up wanting this new phone, or I wanted, I wanted some new clothes. I can't remember what else I wanted, but I wanted things that I wanted as a graduation gift. I was seeing my friends who had cars before graduation, and so I need the new gear. And so I end up getting luggage, like the big suitcase, and inside the big suitcase is like a medium-sized suitcase, and then in the medium one was a smaller one, and then in the small one was like a little duffel. And so she literally gave me this because I was going off to college, and she was like, here, this is your gift. And I was like, thanks,
Right.
And so that was the gift that she gave me for graduating high school.
The funny thing about it is, your mom is, like I said before, she's very strategic, and we'll touch on that a little bit later. But there was a method to the madness.
Certainly.
At the minimum, we can say that.
Certainly.
What valuable lessons would you say that your mom taught you?
With respect to what in particular?
Just in life, I feel like through our talks, you talked to me about different things that she's prepared you for, introducing you to certain things.
Got it.
Paying bills, credit cards, things of that nature.
Okay, so the things that my mom taught me that instantly come to my mind when I think about what the lessons were. You know, she was never a great cook. She was never real into fashion or anything else. Her thing was making sure home is taken care of. Full stop. And so the lesson that was first and foremost from sort of teenage years through early adulthood was have good credit. That was just how that went. It was, you've got to have good credit. And it was, again, one of those situations where I was an adult and she was still monitoring my activity.
Man, I have to stop you right
Yeah.
there. Credit is extremely important. Credit is almost as valuable as, relationships, because, with certain relationships, you really never know where you can go. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes to the whole 6 degree,
Right.
concept.
Right.
So, man, credit, for her to teach you about credit in high school is extremely powerful. How old were you when she started to talk to you about credit and paying bills?
So to give some perspective, my mama was a postal worker. She worked at the post office like my whole life, certainly. And so it wasn't a situation where there was extra bread. We had enough for the essentials. And so I was 17, maybe 18, and she went with me to get my first credit card. And she put us on one together, and she sort of, the bill went to her house, right? And so it wasn't running it up and then, I could figure it out next month, how I'm gonna take care of the minimum payment on it. It was literally, it's going to her crib, and if it's higher than $100 a month, it's gonna be problems. And so I started building credit at 17 or 18. And I remember when I went and bought my first car, the car that I finally got, my credit, when I was 20 years old, I had a 793. And for other people in my cohort, that just wasn't a thing, right? Because the approach was different. They were using the credit card to live. I used a credit card to establish credit history. I didn't know this, but for my mother, and so that was her thing was, so what she told me was it's expensive being poor, and it's expensive to have bad credit because you'll end up paying way more for everything in your life
strategy
versus if you have good credit.